Video games, by their very nature, are goal-oriented. Goals in games give the player direction and let them know what task they have to do next in order to progress through the game. Without these goals in place, the player would not know what to do next or take much longer to achieve the desired input that the developers intended. The way that goals work in video games keep us coming back to them by how they are set up and how they reward the player when they are achieved. Hi, welcome to Video Games. I'm Sam, and today I want to talk about how developers use short-term and long-term goals in order to have their players enjoy their game from start to finish, and how we as gamers can implement these same ideas into real life so we can achieve what we want to through making these same types of goals. To start off, I want to give a simple meaning to what a goal is. A goal is a task or state of being that you want to achieve in the future that will benefit you by reaching it. Goals can be broken down into two types, short-term and long-term. A short-term goal is pretty self-explanatory, but simply put, they are small and easily attainable tasks that when put together will achieve something greater in the end, which would eventually lead to a long-term goal. Short-term goals shouldn't be excessively hard to achieve by themselves and are, by definition, for the short term, meaning that they don't take a long time to reach. Moving on, there are long-term goals, which would be what you would expect, a goal that is of greater significance that takes multiple steps and more time to do. Long-term goals are usually used as an endpoint, with short-term goals being what gets you to that endpoint. If there is anyone watching that makes goals on the regular or has done any digging into this topic at all, then you would have probably heard of something called SMART goals. If you don't know what SMART goals are, SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. If you apply each of these ideas, then you just made yourself a goal that will be very easy to follow. Let me explain further by getting into each idea with a little more detail. Game developers use this SMART goal system in their games as well, and they end up working very well for them. In order for a goal to be in the SMART goal system, the goal needs to follow each of these ideas that I just said. Specific. The goal should be clear and concise. You don't want to overcomplicate what you want to achieve. Keep it simple. Goals in video games are well defined and easy to grasp, like keep this character alive for this long, or get to the end of the screen without dying, or collect these items to craft this better item. Measurable. Having some way to measure your goal so you know whether you are on the right track or not will help you in many ways, so you can stay motivated and focused on reaching it. Keeping your goals measurable helps you meet your deadlines and keeps you excited from the feeling of getting closer to reaching that goal. In games, you can receive scores and measure how well you are doing against yourself or other people. Or if you need to reach a certain score limit, you can easily tell how close you are to reaching it. Attainable. Having your goal be attainable means that it needs to be realistically possible. By all means, it should still stretch your abilities, but not be to the point where you couldn't do it at all through the smaller goals that you set in order to get there. When you play a game, the difficulty of the gameplay rises as you play more, so you can experience more rewarding success and challenge throughout the game instead of staying stagnant. By having a gradual increase of difficulty over the course of the game instead of being incredibly hard to begin with, or having the game stay super easy all the way through, means that you are constantly wanting to get better while still being challenged. Relevant. This means that the goal that you set is actually for you and aligns with your values and what you want to achieve. It should matter to you and carry weight when you think about it. When you reach this goal that matters so much, you will have learned a few lessons and have grown from it. Relevant goals in games do the same thing and would most likely boil down to the main objective or the main quest. These are here in order to keep you on the right path so you can succeed through to the end of the game. Take Breath of the Wild, for example. After you receive the glider and are able to leave the Great Plateau, you are given a main quest to destroy Ganon. There are certainly a few things you can do before that to make the fight easier by defeating the divine beasts, but the one main quest that you have is to simply destroy Ganon. And you can do that right from the beginning of the game if you so choose. I feel like I could have used this example for the specific idea too. This main quest is so simple and to the point, it's very hard to get confused about it. Time bound. Every goal that you make should have a completion date that is set from the time that you make that goal. Time-bound goals are great because they give you something to work toward and look forward to. If the goal that you set isn't time-bound, you have the feeling of no end in sight, and your motivation to complete the task will be much lower since there is just no deadline. Having a time-bound goal makes the measurement part of the SMART goal system much easier because you have the deadline that you can measure your progress against. Some games have their levels timed or are on a countdown, so you have to act with purpose and complete the objective within that certain time frame. So that was pretty simple, right? That's basically what SMART goals are in a nutshell. Make sure that these ideas apply to the goals that you make, and it will ensure that the goal is simple and easy to follow and achieve. There are a few more ideas that I want to go over that developers put into their games that can also apply to self-development and growth, but don't necessarily fall into the SMART goals system. When you play a video game, you are always supported by feedback. Feedback is the only way you receive results in games, and you can get those results of your gameplay very quickly through visual and audio stimuli. Visual stimuli, like having a level up meter in a game, leads back to being measurable. Leveling up is very rewarding, and you can instantly see how far you have until the next level, which keeps you playing the game for that much longer. Something that I love about video games is that you are able to practice a lot and make many mistakes over and over without seeing many negative consequences. Learning from your mistakes has you reevaluating the whole situation and making changes in order to come out on top. By doing this in real life, you can learn from your own mistakes and make goals that reflect those changes and end up learning a lot more than you expected and still achieve success in the end. I want to quickly go over an example of a goal that I had last year during my first year of taking weightlifting seriously. So over the course of about 6 weeks, I wanted to increase my deadlift weight by about 50 pounds. I was very new to deadlifts myself, so I knew that there was a lot of room for improvement. Just by that information alone, 6 weeks and 50 pounds, I can make a SMART goal out of it. So here it is. I want to increase my deadlift by at least 50 pounds in 8 weeks. I will increase weight weekly and record sets, reps, and weight amounts every week to record progress. And that's it. It's that simple to make a SMART goal. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to me and my values, and is time-based by having that end date. I will say that I did end up reaching that goal and was even able to lift a little bit more than my goal weight at the end. But by keeping the weight at an amount that I knew I could reach by a reasonable time, I didn't feel discouraged to get there. So before I end, I want to just give a couple more tips that I can think of that will help with setting goals in general. First, don't work on too many goals at one time. You don't want to have this huge laundry list of goals that you can't get done all at the same time. You will quickly get burned out. Start by doing the easy ones first in order to make success and rewards come easier so you have the motivation and it will just come more often. Focus on few goals at one time. Once you achieve some of them, make new ones to fill in the completed goals and repeat. Keep these goals somewhere that is easily seen or accessible so you can be reminded of them often. Always having reminders keeps your head in the game and the goal in mind so we don't stray from what we really want. Review your goals often so you can make the necessary changes to them that you need in order to stay on the right path. Reviewing your progress will let you know if you need to step up your game or if you need to change things up completely. My last tip for the video is probably the most important one and applies to both games and goals. It is make sure that you are enjoying yourself. Have fun. If you aren't having fun playing a video game, you will ultimately just get bored of it and quit and move on to something else before you finish it. The same goes for sticking with a goal. If you don't enjoy pursuing that goal or what it takes to get to the end point, you will ultimately feel discouraged at some point and not want to do it anymore. Please make sure you are having fun and are doing what you want to before you get too far into that one thing. Alright, thank you everybody so much for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. I hope that this helped at least one of you out there, and let me know by commenting if there are any goals that you want to set for yourself and what they are, and we can discuss it further in the comments. please consider subscribing to this channel and give it a thumbs up if you like the content, and give it a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it that much. See you later.